Boom. Okay, what up, everyone? We are live. It is the SportsEthos Super Bowl preview. So how did we get here? I'm your host, John Mosales. I got my trusty co-host, Anthony Quaranta. And we're just going to be talking Super Bowl, the path each team took here. Was it fate, destiny, or was it schedule luck? With one team, which we'll get into. But Anthony kind of handled Seattle. I'll talk New England, and we'll just bounce back and forth and, kind of talk Super Bowl, fantasy, pretty much anywhere we want to go. Anthony, what's shaking?
Not a whole lot. A couple more days until my favorite day of the year, Super Bowl Sunday. I had a lot of fun writing the Seattle Seahawks 2025 season review.
Is it really your favorite day of the year?
Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday is my favorite day of the year every year.
Ooh, that's okay.
Oh, I like that. That's nice. A little more spread out. But yeah, favorite day of the year every year.
Okay. See, I'm like a pessimist. It's like my least favorite day because then it's the last day of football. And then it's 6 months till the week one. So my favorite day of the year is probably the wild card round. Right, we got all those playoff games: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and high stakes. And it was a great playoff round. But so let's just dive in. Seattle, what word would you say kind of defined their season?
What word defined their season? Word, phrase. I think just consistency, really.
Ooh, I like that.
Although they lost their first game, they only lost 3 games. They didn't lose any games that they shouldn't have lost. They played consistent. They played well. They didn't have any blowout losses. They had a couple blowout wins. They were just steady. Maybe steady is the word instead of.
I like consistent. I like steady. Both are good.
Yeah, one of those 2 words. I mean, they just kept getting the job done. Some games they started slow. That was kind of a bit of a trend. But again, they just always kind of finished the job. The defense was able to kind of shut down games sometimes, help them out. They did have the league's leading scorer, Jason Myers, the kicker. So, I mean, they just got the job done this year. What about for New England? What do you think? Word or phrase for them? Luck? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy once you dive into it. Like the lowest opposing team percentage was like 391. I think like 11 coaches got fired, head coaches of teams they played. They played the worst defenses. It was crazy, but you still have to win those games. Right. Drake Maye, 280, 2 touchdowns every game. But it's also against Tennessee, the Giants, and Tampa, and the Jets. So it's grain of salt.
Sure. And opposite, Seattle plays in what I think we can all agree is the toughest division in football, meaning they get the Rams and the 49ers twice each a year. And the Cardinals are what they are, but a tough division overall. And ironically enough, Seattle's 2 playoff opponents were both the 49ers and the Rams. So they had to play 3 of the best teams in the NFC 3 times and still managed to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's just funny. If we're looking back, nobody would have the Pats in the Super Bowl. Seattle was a little bit more likely, but if you were ranked,
no, not really. I mean, a little more likely, but still not really on the Super Bowl radar. I didn't think.
Yeah, well, you interrupted me. Thank you. But I was going to say,
so sorry.
If you rank them in the division, if you rank that division in the summer, right? How many times people would have had Seattle 3rd or 4th, right? Probably almost everyone. A lot of people would have had Arizona over Seattle.
Yeah, I probably had Seattle 3rd or 4th for sure. I can't remember exactly, but and that's why it was so crazy. I just kept waiting for them to fall off after losing week 1. They went on to win 1, 2, 3 3 games in a row. Then they lost to Tampa, and then they went on another 5-game win streak, lost the Rams week 11, and then they haven't lost a game since.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's anytime they you think, okay, they lost this game, this is going to be the start of them starting to tumble. Nope, they just bounced back and won 4 in a row, 5 in a row, 6 in a row, and they haven't lost since week 11.
So what do you think? Why were expectations so muted? Because if you just look at it objectively, it's hey, you bring in Sam Darnold, who won 15 games 2 years ago, threw for 40 touchdowns. theoretically, that's a massive upgrade, right?
Yep.
Everyone loves both running backs. Everyone loved JSN. They brought in Cooper Kupp, and the defense was always going to be good. Shut up, Loki. Was it just Darnold? People just didn't trust Darnold because of the way he finished the season.
Yeah, so I think the thing is, Geno Smith was still a top 5 quarterback in terms of passing yards last season, or 2024. So it's. I think that it was kind of questionable whether or not they really upgraded, moving from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold did have the breakout year with the Vikings, who ended up obviously having a better season than the Seahawks did. But, I mean, it was really a breakout year, like I said, but it was his first year really doing a whole heck of a lot. He ended up being a journeyman veteran for his career. So a lot of people kind of thought it was a fluke, especially losing to the Rams twice at the end of 2024 with the Vikings. I think it was week 18 or week 17, and then they played them in the first round of the playoffs. So I think the vibe around Sam Darnold was really, you can't win the big game. It was a fluke. Is it really an upgrade from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold? Both kind of the same type of quarterback, right? Veterans that revived their career a little bit. So it was just a big move, a big decision. And then, they traded at the time their most productive receiver. Nobody saw JSN, being the offensive player of the year. I don't think at the time. Maybe you did. But, and then I think signing Cooper Kupp a day after trading DK Metcalf was a bit underwhelming. Almost like when the Giants traded Odell and signed Golden Tate. Like what are we really doing here, people? These are the upgrades that we're making to try to get us. Quarterback is looking like a wash at the time on paper, and the wide receiver on paper is looking like a big downgrade. So I think there were just a lot of questions about the direction that this team was going, and I mean ultimately, they were proved right. Jason again, just the best player in the league offensively outside the quarterback. And they just clicked.
Yeah, I mean, it's they look like, I don't know. Teams sometimes look like Super Bowl teams. Like Seattle, they kind of have that look. They're, I'm worried about the O-line. Charbonnet out hurts, but great defense, good kicker, great coach, veteran QB, great wide receiver. Is that enough for the Super Bowl?
Maybe. I think the biggest thing is going to be the defense. Again, I think I mentioned it at the top. It's the best defense in the league as far as points per game, allowing just 17.2 points. I'm sure the Patriots defense is also pretty good, but I think that's ultimately going to be the key is the defense and how many sacks, if any, they can get on Drake Maye.
Okay. What game is there a game? Because we did a how did you get here, Eric? We wrote an article and we went over every game, like a game that kind of defined the season, or maybe even when you're doing the research or watching during the season, a game where it's like, oh, Seattle is for real, and I'm taking them seriously as a potential contender.
Oh man, for me, I think it was when I really think it was week 16 when they it certainly wasn't early. I just kept waiting for the fall off, and again they were just so steady and consistent, it just didn't happen. But I thought maybe they were just going to be one of those pretender teams again. Just the vibe around Sam Darnold, even after the breakout year, was just he disappeared in the two biggest games at the end.
That's true. So it was kind of like, yeah, we know he can do this. Get to week 16 and be elite.
Exactly. And then, heading into that week 16 matchup against the Rams, if you count the last two games from the Vikings season and then the first time they played in week 11 this past season, he was 0-3 against the Rams. So that was the big – and, other than that, he'd only lost, 3 other games. So he was, 28-3 against the NFL and 0-3 against the Rams.
Wow,
so
that's crazy. That's like a tattoo.
And again, now he plays them twice a year. And if you make the playoffs, there's a good chance you're going to play them again. So week 16, they were down, I think, at halftime, or at some point they were down 23-14. And it just wasn't looking great, looking like, okay, this is who Sam Darnold is. This is all the questions are being justified as to the upgrade and the move from like what direction we're going here. Like, why did we pay Sam Darnold $150 million? And then they ended up scoring. Oh, I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not sure.
Is this the like 200-yard Puka game?
Yes, it is. It was the 200-yard Puka game. They ended up overcoming that, taking it to overtime and winning it on a 2-point conversion. And that one, that's when I said, okay, this Seattle team might get somewhere.
Okay. We'll pivot to the Pats in a second, but let's say what would be their Achilles heel? Like if you were going to attack them, if you were an OC or something, or if they were going to lose the Super Bowl, the pressure just built on this one spot and it cracks. What would it be?
A slow start. Yeah, I think just Seattle starting. So they've done it again a lot. Luckily, they have a really good defense, so it really didn't bite them too much. And then they seem to be a second half team more times than not. But I know the Patriots are the second highest scoring offense in football. So if they start slow and New England starts hot, it might be tough for them to catch up, especially because New England can score and New England's defense is good in itself. I'm sure you'll talk about that. I think so. That I think would likely be the biggest thing for Seattle is making sure that they don't start slow.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the Pats. It's just it was crazy doing the schedule because until you do the deep dive, right? It's just you hear the radio and the pods and YouTube people talking about the schedule, and then you see it, and it's like, they lose to the Raiders week 1. That's bad. Then they end up losing, I think, Pittsburgh week 3, and then it's actual just cake, right? Even though they play like a good team, they play like Tampa. Bucky's out, Mike Evans is out, Godwin's out. So they play the Falcons. The Falcons actually play well. Drake had a monster game, 3 touchdowns, and then they missed an extra point. So it's you can be team of destiny, you can be lucky. They say it's better to be lucky than good. The Pats were both, and it's a crazy season. But the luck you don't want to have the luck overemphasize like how great Drake Maye was, right? His jump from first year to second year is historic, right? Yeah. Almost was the MVP. And you go to the game log, right? You pull up any game in that season, and he's got over 200 yards. He's got at least a touchdown, and he probably ran for a bunch.
Yeah, he was. I'm trying to see where he was. He was just above Sam Darnold as a passer. He was 4th in the league, almost 4,400 yards. So I mean, yeah, he was coulda, shoulda, woulda been MVP. But I mean, yeah, he had a heck of a season. And that's why I said, like, it's just so important to not let the Patriots get a big lead because Drake Maye can just kill you. He can kill you with his arm. He can kill you low-key with his legs when you're least expecting it. Seattle does have – they don't have a guy that's over 10 sacks, but they have 4 guys that have 6+ sacks. So they do it as a unit. They don't have, like, one guy that – you shut him down and you're going to have all the time in the world. They do it collectively, and they were still top 10 in sacks despite their team leader only having 7.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarity between the Seahawks and the Pats, but I think both team defenses, although is it Milton Williams? I always confuse him, Quentin Williams and Milton Williams.
Milton Williams up there in New England, yeah.
Yeah, this is the run stopper, right? It's crazy. You look at the game log, didn't matter. They play who they played. They play James Cook, under 50 rushing yards. Bijan, under 50 rushing yards. He goes out late in the season. James Cook, over 100, right? They play Derrick Henry, over 100. So he's a one-man run stopper. But the biggest dichotomy of the two teams for me is it's the weapons. And what would you rather have? JSN, the supernova, black hole, unstoppable force, and a bunch of bit pieces, or the Pats, where it's like they got a bunch of guys who can lead any game in receiving. Like Diggs is solid, Kayshon Boutte's solid, Hunter Henry's a good tight end, Mac Hollins is kind of a big game player. Demario Douglas had some big games. What would you rather take, the balance or that hyper-focused super stud? Because I'm not sure. Well, I know what I'd take.
Oh, man. Probably. There's an argument for both. What would you say? And I'll make, if and I'll make the counter argument because I could see either side here.
I want the alpha. I want the guy I know. Like I'm going, I'll live or die with JSN. I've seen Stephon Diggs, and I know I'm going to die with him.
Yeah.
I don't trust, Keisha Bude I love, but is he going to be in a big, he might have 2 catches for 30 yards, right? Hunter Henry's probably going to be the leading receiver. I think Matt Collins is a dog, but like I know JSN's going for 150, right? You
Mhm.
go look at the Pats all season. That's what they're vulnerable to: superstar wide receivers. So,
Okay.
Jason's going to go crazy. They can't stop him. Christian Gonzalez is an elite corner. Doesn't matter unless they do. Vrabel's like Jason's not beating us, like double bracket, like zone box, the Steph Curry, boxing one.
The 4-1.
Yeah, Jason's going to go crazy. So I take that, and then it also will open the field up because you can do like a crossing route. Maybe both guys go JSN. Cup goes underneath. I'm not like a
Yeah.
super football genius, but yeah, give me the super set every time.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And then just piggybacking off that, and then I'll make the argument. It's like when the game's on the line, like you have a go-to guy, and I think that can be really understated sometimes. But to make the counterpoint for New England, funny how we're kind of flipping sides here, right? As far as the articles we wrote, I think it's really good to be unpredictable. You can have so many different schemes and play calls, and there's so many different things in your arsenal. You can diversify how you attack. You can run it up the middle with Ramondre Stevenson. You can bounce it on the outside with Trayvon Henderson. You can feed Stephon Diggs, who still, even though John, you think he's a loser, is still a dog. I think he's kind of proved that in the playoffs. Maybe they've just been saving him, but he's had a couple of performances. He had a good game to end the season as well. Booty's a deep threat. Matt Collins, like you said, is just an absolute animal, someone that can make a splash play. And then Hunter Henry as well can just beat you. So, just being able to do it in so many different ways and with such a creative play caller and Josh McDaniels, thank you.
That's it.
Yeah. Thanks, John. I think that could be a huge advantage in itself as well. You just never know where the ball is going to go, and as long as Drake May could find his matchup, which he certainly has shown the propensity to do this season, there's a number of ways that they can beat him.
Yeah, so that's Downs. Tip of this, or it's if you're going to war, right? You don't want just one weapon, right? You diversify. It's more effective, harder to stop. But that means it's all in the general, right? So it's all on Drake May's shoulders. And as a second-year QB who didn't even play the full season, who's been solid in the playoffs, but I mean, they scored 16 points versus the Chargers. I think he had, lost in that CJ Stroud meltdown game. Maye had a bunch of turnovers. And then he played Denver, where I think he passed for 84 yards, or like ran for 60. Obviously, the weather, Denver defense is elite, but like I love Maye. I think Maye is a dog. He's an alpha, but it's like Tom Brady struggled in multiple Super Bowl games, especially early. But so like the thing on Maye is he makes mistakes. He tries to put it all on his shoulders and do it all. He's got problems fumbling the ball. He'll make that bad pass. Seattle's a predatory defense. Like I really like Seattle in this game. I just don't think Maye's ready. I think the jumps he's made are unbelievable from rookie to sophomore, but he's still, only has one full season under his belt. I don't think he's really been tested, and this path has been pretty generous.
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking at the interception numbers. Sam Darnold has the third most in the league with 14.
Yeah.
And Drake May actually he only has 8. So maybe I'm not looking at the fumble stats. I know you said that he has a propensity to fumble the ball as well, and Seattle's a top 10 team in sacks, so got to protect the ball, especially when you're under pressure. You mentioned some bad throws again. The 8 picks, neither here nor there. But Seattle is a top five team in interceptions as well. So their back end is absolutely ferocious. Although I think they're going to be missing the rookie whose name is
Bluesky or something
is escaping me. I think it was a first round pick. The defensive back. I feel like I saw that he might.
I saw him limping a video. Yeah. But so it's a good point. Drake May only has 8 picks, but look at the defenses were so bad. You kind of got to cherry pick and pick like when he would go against a good defense and then see what his stats were. I think they had the 23rd most passing attempts, but he had the best yards per attempt. or the fourth most yards. Like that's a crazy stat. Like that's like Maye. He airs it out. He loves to air it out. They're one of the best deep ball teams without a real deep ball threat. Like Boudet's okay, but he's not like Alex Pierce, right?
Right. And then just to clarify, I was just looked it up. Report from Seattle Sports, Cameron Van Til, Nick Amenawari is good to go.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, so just they're gonna have all their weapons there in the defensive backfield. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Drake Maye threw a pick. I think we've seen just off the top of my head over the past like 5 to 10 years, Super Bowl starting a bit slow. Where there's not a whole lot happening. Teams are nervous trying to settle in. Every play is obviously much more magnified, so much more important. All the things we know. So there's been some slow starts. So which again Seattle would like to avoid, but maybe that bodes well, knowing that their defense can hopefully get Drake Maye and co to start slow too.
Yeah, so we got at Dots here's a 17-13 Seahawks, and I think that's perfect. I think that's a great score. I think it's going to be, it could be 10-3 at half. I think both teams start slow. Defenses are going to ride the day. I don't think either team's going to be able to run the ball. Both teams are probably going to be taking away the deep ball, right? It's not like Seattle. Maye's not going to go out there and hit like a 50-yard bomb in the first half, right? It's just, I can, knock on wood. But yeah. I think this translates to an under game. I think all the Pats playoff games went under. Maybe that Houston game went over, but that was just because of turnovers. What about the Seattle playoff games? Because we had that stupid Niners game when
41-6.
Huh?
41-6.
But on like Thursday, it comes out that Darnold hasn't been throwing all week, and it's like, oh, he's got an oblique injury, like he's hurt. This might be, like the Brock Purdy 2 years ago with the elbow thing. And then it didn't matter. They run it back. They run the first play for a touchdown, and Darnold didn't have to do anything.
Right. Well, hopefully Darnold is at full strength. I think Seattle is going to need him to play. You talked about Drake Maye. You don't think he's going to throw a 50-yard bomb, early. Rashid Shaheed on the other side is a guy that you could certainly throw a bomb to early. Maybe catch him off guard, catch him by surprise. Also, look for him to make a big play in the return game. And I know the Patriots have a big returner as well. So this would be a really interesting game to bet if you want to place a bet. Special teams touchdown.
Ooh, I like that. Defensive special teams touchdown. Who do you think, if they get down 14 points, has no chance to win? Or do you think both teams could come back?
I think both teams could probably come back. I think, and maybe just because I did the Seattle, season review. Again, they're a second half team. So I think if they go down 2 scores early, I think it's a position where they know that they know how to make adjustments at halftime. So just based off of, what I looked at, which was predominantly Seahawks stuff, I think I'd be a little more comfortable with them going down over New England. I don't know if you have a different perspective.
No, that sounds probably, yeah, because I think also if either team gets up 2 scores and tries to maybe kill clock, run the ball, they probably won't be effective doing that. So you might be able to get a bunch of 3 and outs, get the ball back, and then if you can score. And then also if Seattle's there's going to be turnovers in this game. Unless the coaches really handcuff the quarterbacks, like Drake Maye and Darnold are, they were born to make turnovers in the Super Bowl. Sorry to say.
Right. What are the Patriots interceptions or turnover numbers, as far as the defense goes, forced turnovers?
They were elite. Oh, no, that's the Bears. Sorry.
No, they only had 10 interceptions, which isn't a whole heck of a lot. Let's see what the fumbles were. Because, turnovers are going to be – they're a big part of every game, right? No, it's just more magnified in the Super Bowl. Fumbles recovered, New England 9. So, they're just kind of in the middle of the pack there. And
fumbles are a fifth lucky. Yeah,
just kind of like middle of the pack turnover team. Seattle doesn't force a whole lot of fumbles, but again, they're a top 5 team in interceptions. So Yeah, I think that just kind of solidifies, I think being down, you said, just being down 14 or being down 2 scores. Who do you trust more? Maybe I do trust the Patriots defense a little bit more to make a play if they're down to help shift momentum and, give the Seahawks good field position or whatever that means as far as,
I mean, so you trust the Seattle defense to make a play?
yes, that's what I'm
So
saying.
yeah, you
Like,
said pass.
like if they're down, yeah, to get them back in it, if needed, like the offense is struggling.
So did you look at any bets, or did you think about it when you were doing the preview? Like, and is anything, total? What do you like in this game? Because I probably like the Seahawks. I would probably do the money line and the under. I don't like the points with an under, but
I don't know what the over under is, but yeah, I think I definitely have the Seahawks winning.
everyone does though, which is also a little worrying.
No, the only bet I really thought of is, like I said, I think there's as good a shot as any, I think, of there being a special teams touchdown.
I love
Just
that. I
because,
love that.
yeah, because Rashid Shaheed's an electric return man, and so is I forget his first name, but Jones, number 25, the return man, Mac Jones, on New
Marcus.
England,
Oh,
Marcus Jones. Some I'll have to figure that out. I'll look that up, but I know he's a dangerous return man too. So I think that's probably going to be. I'll probably end up maybe submitting that one.
and also this might be too galaxy brain. I think if both teams struggle to run, a lot of 3-and-outs. That's more punting, right? More punting, more chances for special teams touchdown. Although I love the muff punt, but you can't advance the ball, right? You can't score on a muff punt. That's unfortunate.
I know I do hate that, and it's Marcus Jones, by the way.
Yeah, Marcus. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
What about Super Bowl MVP? I mean, obviously the QBs are favored, but is this? I don't think anyone could win it other than Maye, unless of course Ramondre, went crazy, but he's not going to.
You're like 3 rushing touchdowns, and they scored 24 points, and 3 of them are Andre Stevenson touchdowns. Yeah. It would be tough to give it to anybody else.
I promise you that will not happen, though.
The Super Bowl, interesting things happen in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, if New England wins it, I think it's Drake May, no doubt. If the Seahawks win it, I low-key think the favorite to be the MVP would be JSN.
Yeah. Right? We've seen the precedent, right? Cooper Kupp won it for the Rams a couple years ago.
Yeah.
If Darnold throws for 220 and JSN has 140, he'd have to score as well. Maybe a couple, big plays late.
Yeah, that or maybe Ken Walker. Ken Walker has 150 yards, 2 touchdowns.
If the Pats don't give up that, right?
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
talking about a super elite. You do not run on this team, right? And then with that Seahawks O line, I like Ken Walker under for rushing yards.
Oh, what are his rushing yards?
It's probably I'd say it's 48.5. Pure guess.
We should pull something up. Here, I'll pull it up since you're more of the gambling guy than I am, and we can play a game.
The greatest idea ever. Let me just pull my nose.
What do you normally use? I'll just look up DraftKings. Yeah, you'd be much better.
Yeah, FanDuel doesn't matter. The lines are going to be all within a yard or two.
I don't want to make an account to look. I don't want to do this. Okay, here we go. So yeah, what's what do you think Ken Walker over under? You said what,
48.5?
All right, let me see. Let me get in here. Of course, it's being slow. What do you think? Okay, here it is.
Because I haven't even looked yet. Because this playoffs have been kind of mid for me. That wild card round was crazy. The Bills Jags game, the Rams Carolina game.
Oh no, this is annoying. It's giving me I can bet how many yards. It's not giving me an over under.
I'm sure you just go to AI, Google AI.
I probably could just do that. Anyway, it's fine.
How high would JSN's yards have to be for you to be I'm going to bet the under? Triple digits?
What's the Patriots pass defense look like? I think you said that was their weakness, right?
Yeah, I mean that's how you're gonna week 1, Gino went for almost 400. Week 2, Tua went for 340. So, like, and obviously they can get better. Christian Gonzalez was kind of hurt to start, but
Mhm.
you can't be elite everywhere. So if the run defense is
Um,
so good, they can get attacked through the air. But some of that might be because the run defense is so good, like the neutral pass rate is really high.
I think around 110 is where I started to think about it. I'd probably be willing to, and this is just kind of off the top of my head, right? I'd probably be willing to bet that he'd go hit 120, but like that's probably like the line, I
Yeah,
think.
with some nice juice. It's probably like 88.
Um, yeah, that I think for me for JSN. Who do you think is the most likely Patriots receiver to get over 100 yards? Obviously, I'm not sure that any of them do, but who do you think is most likely to?
I don't know, man. I just
That
because
includes
I'm in
that includes
Toronto.
Hunter Henry as well.
Yeah, of course. I'm in Toronto, so it's like a Buffalo Bills kind of mix. A lot of my buddies are Bills fans, and I have watched so many KC Buffalo games, and where Diggs no showed, like 2 catches, 18 yards.
Hmm.
He had the one Chiefs game when he was like after the game was standing out there, right, and that was like the promo for all season. Like he's back, he's ready to atone. No, he was shit. But also, the Chiefs are very good at taking away your number one wide receiver, so they would do that. That's why Gabe Davis had like 4 touchdowns. So that's the worry. I mean, I'm just quickly pivoting. Like, if the Pats just decide to bracket JSN, because that's what I would do. Why wouldn't you do that? Make Cooper Kupp beat you.
Yeah.
But with the Pats, so Diggs is out. I don't think Boute's ready. I might do like Mac Hollins or like maybe Travion Henderson. Maybe like you can attack Seattle with the running backs.
When was the last time Mac Collins had 100 yards, if ever? I
He was
would love.
pretty good for Buffalo last year.
I would love to know that he was. He's a monster. He's kind of a splash play type guy. Let me see, but that's interesting. So I mean, ultimately, I don't know that anybody does. Right?
No, but I don't like Diggs. I don't trust. I don't think Boutte to get the volume. Demario Douglas is usually gets around the line of scrimmage, so I don't know. Probably Hunter Henry. Oh no, it would be Henry because Seattle's always bad versus tight ends. Final answer, Hunter Henry. Their defensive scheme definitely it cuts off wide receivers and allows you to throw towards the middle.
Okay, I like that. That's. I'd probably go Hunter Henry or Stephon Diggs, but I understand shying away from Diggs. Hunter Henry, I think that's a good one. Do you think either one of the Patriots running backs goes over 100 yards?
No. Didn't like who ran for 100 yards for Seattle all season?
Probably nobody. I don't have it off the top of my head. I know that they've given up 100 total yards, but as far as a specific player, no, I'm not 100% sure. But they were good again. I mean, the Seahawks just don't have a lot of weaknesses. Outside, I think if you take away JSN, their pass offense is really going to struggle.
But I mean, Rashid Shaheed is pretty good. Like, right? It just he spreads the field. You got Cup underneath, and then Jason gets the rest of the field. It's like that. That's a good recipe. Like that, I can get down with that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rashid Shaheed has had zero impact on the offense. He has had 3 touchdown returns though for them since being brought over to Seattle after the Week 8 trade deadline, but no real impact on offense. This is why I'm looking for him to make a play in the Super Bowl.
What about the rookie? Is it Torrey Hart or something?
Torrey Horton.
Or Torrey Horton.
Yeah, he's had he scored a couple touchdowns. He's made some big plays. Maybe he gets a long bomb. Seattle can definitely stretch. They have the guys to stretch the field. It's just there hasn't been a ton of connection on it. But
Okay.
I mean, you have JSN to just feed, so it ultimately they got a pretty good recipe going for them ultimately.
And then what was I going to say? Seattle. Oh, my brain froze. I just had something I was going to talk about. Shaheed, Jason, to score. Oh, sorry, my brain froze. All right, yeah. What about to score? Like, would you Drake May? Like, I think Drake he's gonna have to use his legs. I guess you don't have any stats on the defense was vulnerable to QBs running because they didn't really play many, right?
Let me run through their schedule and see. No. Purdy, Aaron Rodgers, Shock, Kyler Murray. Then you get Baker, Lawrence, CJ Stroud. I think it was Brissett when they played them.
Oh, I was
They
saying
didn't play. No, they didn't really.
My favorite Super Bowl bet is a 3 players to throw a pass or 2.5.
Oh, that's a fun one.
We've seen McDaniels likes it. He used to do it with Edelman, right? When he was on the Pats, and then Cup can do it, and then maybe they have even somebody else, right? I think it's just you have 2 weeks, you got extra time to work on a practice play, and this is where you should break it out for sure.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think it's a good one too. It's a good fun one.
All right, throw to Drake Maye, have it running around, stiff arming people. Okay, we're gonna wrap up because we're running out of content here. Though we got a ton of people watching, but I feel like we're boring everyone. So let's go a couple more minutes. What anything from the Seattle article or the video you made that you didn't that made the cutting room floor? Some funny stat or a weird anything weird from a game or something you want to talk about?
Nothing. I'm perusing the article now just to see. I do think that the looking back on it, the Jalen Milroe hype was a little funny for the hot minute that it happened when they picked him. They actually picked him with the pick they got in the Geno Smith trade, 92 in the 3rd round. And so there was thought that he's electric. Maybe he comes on. That was quickly quelled once he was the QB3 behind behind Drew Lock. And it reports from my recollection, he's going to take some time to develop. He's not going to start this year. Probably might not even be ready next year. We're going to take the time to develop him. So that just was kind of a little funny blip on the radar.
Okay. So let's just play who would you rather have quickly. So QBs, who'd you rather have for QB in the Super Bowl or for fantasy next year? Darnold or Maye?
Drake Maye.
Drake Maye and for Super Bowl too?
Oh, sorry about that, Tanner.
He likes Darnold.
Yeah. He's telling me that I'm wrong. For the Super Bowl, I mean, if are we talking about? That's tough because are we talking about quarterback specifically, or are we including the weapons and the offense? I mean,
at QB, who has a better game?
I mean, who has a better game? Sam Darnold will have more passing yards.
Okay. Running back, Kenneth Walker or Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson. Oh, I glitched.
I think I'd probably rather have Stevenson and Henderson, although Ken Walker has been an absolute monster in the playoffs.
Ever since my fantasy team got eliminated with him on it, he's been the best running back in the league. So from week 16 on.
That's how it goes.
And then obviously JSN versus the
all of
farm.
Them. Yeah, JSN versus the field. Give me JSN.
Okay.
100%. Now, who's that in mind? Whose offense would you rather have? If we're talking about the whole thing.
I mean, I don't. You mentioned it. The Pats finished second, 28.8 points per game. They move the ball against anyone. They're super balanced. They're also explosive. I don't know. I know I can trust JSN, and I'm just going to hitch my wagon to that. I don't know who I can trust in the Pats, and I just don't think Maye's ready. So I'm going to take Seattle's offense.
Yeah, I am too. I know I made the counter argument, which I do think is a valid. I think both these offenses are obviously 2 of the top 3 offenses in the NFL. But I do prefer Seattle as well. My preference would also be I need the guy that I can trust to make a play. That's kind of the side of that argument. Ultimately, I would have taken as well. So yeah, give me Seattle's offense.
Okay. Last thing, and then we're done. All right. Dark horse to make a big play to score a touchdown. You kind of mentioned Rashid Shaheed. Would you go with him? I'm gonna go with my guy Matt Collins.
Matt Collins. Okay, I like that. No, I feel like Rashid Shaheed is a dark horse because he doesn't really play a whole lot or have a whole lot of impact on offense. So it's limited, but I feel like that's like a little popular pick. So
Okay,
I
smart.
think
Okay.
if I had to dig deeper, I think Elijah Arroyo's coming back
Ooh, tight
this
end.
week. And yeah, I mean, I know AJ Barner's been kind of the guy, but I think if Elijah Arroyo plays, I mean, they don't have like a true like standout like tight end one. Look for some fresh legs to maybe snipe a touchdown on like a little trick goal line play. They line up heavy. It's the heavy personnel. They do a play action roll out. The second or third string tight end finds himself all alone in the back of the end zone. Elijah Arroyo might end up coming up big play in a big spot.
Okay, great. Okay, that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks for watching. It's Anthony's favorite day of the year in, what are we, 36 hours, 30 hours? I can't do the math. But yeah, let us know. Either check out us or our Twitter at Ethos Fantasy NFL. Give us your predictions. And if it's 17-13 Seahawks, dots 57. We know you're from the future.
47 hours, a shade under.
Okay, great. Okay.
Folks, who's counting? Not me.
All right. We'll see you next week. Cheers.